Hello viewers, I'm your host Uzma Jafri with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. The highly anticipated visit of Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to India witnessed a number of agreements signed and the two sides committing to further bolstering their time-tested partnership. While the two countries reviewed the entire gamut of ties, as many as 7 MOUs spanning across the energy sector, water sharing, railways and IT were inked. From jointly developing thermal projects to improving multi-layered connectivity, both India and Bangladesh are committed to assisting each other in their growth.
Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's recent visit to India marked the advent of a significant chapter in the New Delhi-Dhaka bilateral relationship. The highly anticipated visit witnessed a number of agreements signed and the two sides committing to further bolstering their time-tested partnership. While the two countries reviewed the entire gamut of ties, as many as 7 MOUs spanning across the energy sector, water sharing, railways and IT were inked. From jointly developing thermal projects to improving multi-layered connectivity, both India and Bangladesh are committed to assisting each other in their growth. The neighboring South Asian countries are also two of the fastest-growing economies in the world, and their commitment to a deeper engagement at all levels between the two countries has proven to be high-yielding for both.
पिछले कुछ सालों में हमारा आपसी सहयोग भी हर क्षेत्र में तेजी से बढ़ा है। आज बांग्लादेश भारत का सबसे बड़ा डेवलपमेंट पार्टनर और क्षेत्र में हमारा सबसे बड़ा ट्रेड पार्टनर है।
The tenacity to resolve bilateral differences or issues through dialogue and diplomacy has been the underlying principle of the engagement between the two countries. It is such diplomacy and dialogue that resulted in the signing of an MOU on water sharing of the Kushiara River. The agreement will benefit the people of India's northeastern Assam state, as well as the people of the Sylhet region of Bangladesh. Negotiations are also ongoing to resolve the protracted issue of water sharing of the Tista River. Prime Minister Hasina, who hailed the Indian government for being cooperative and supportive, said her government was consistently engaging with the Indian side to achieve mutually beneficial results.
We focus on possible ways to materialize our commitment and accommodate each other's priorities in a mutually beneficial manner. Connectivity, trade and commerce, investment, water resources management, security, border management, and lines of credit are some of the areas we discussed.
Whether it is diplomacy or trade, both Delhi and Dhaka have synergized their efforts to attain maximum dividends. The trade between the two neighbors has grown significantly in the past few years. In the fiscal year 2021 to 2022, Bangladesh emerged as the largest trade partner for India and South Asia. It was also the 4th largest export destination for Indian goods across the world. With a 66% year-on-year rise, Indian exports grew from $9.69 billion USD in 2020 to 2021 to $16.15 billion USD in 2021 to 2022. The two countries have also been negotiating a comprehensive economic partnership agreement, which will enable both India and Bangladesh to retain and secure all benefits in their trade ties, even after Bangladesh's status elevates to a developing country, as per the UN definition of the term.
बांग्लादेश के निर्यात के लिए आज भारत पूरे एशिया में सबसे बड़ा मार्केट है। इस वृद्धि को और गति देने के लिए हम द्विपक्षीय कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इकोनॉमिक पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट पर शीघ्र चर्चा शुरू करेंगे। हमने आईटी, अंतरिक्ष और न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी जैसे सेक्टर में भी सहयोग बढ़ाने का निश्चय किया।
The two countries share historical, social, and deep cultural affinities. Since 1971, 5 decades since Bangladesh was formed with Indian assistance, the relationship between Delhi and Dhaka has been marked by trust, cooperation, and mutual respect. The successive governments have endeavored to strengthen the cooperation between the two. The current governments have taken the relationship to an unprecedented high, with the future looking even more promising for both India and Bangladesh.
Moving on, Pakistan is in the throes of a humanitarian emergency. The catastrophic floods in the country triggered by erratic monsoon are desperate to break all earlier records. Exposing a set of problems that paralyze Pakistan, the floodwaters are wiping away everything, including future of many. For those who have left their homes, the situation is dire. We bring you a report.
Over 1,300 dead, millions displaced, and the death toll continues to mount. Pakistan is in the throes of a humanitarian emergency. The catastrophic floods in the country, triggered by erratic monsoon, are desperate to break all earlier records. Exposing a set of problems that paralyze Pakistan, the floodwaters are wiping away everything, including future of many. For those who have left their homes, the situation is dire.
सैलाब मां हिते वॾी तबाही थी वई असांखे वरी अलाह रसूल करे जिते बि सैलाब आहे मां जूं तबाही थी वञे जिते किथे पर वधि में वधि असीं ग़रीब मंछर जा मला आहियूं असांखे ख़ुदा जेको मतिलबु खाइण लाइ का शइ कोन हूंदी आहे एॾो असां बर्बाद थी आया आहियूं हाणे अलाह करे त ख़तमु थी वञे रब रसूल करे त सभु को पंहिंजे वतन ते वापसि वञे.
Pregnant women in Pakistan are being forced to cross floodwater just to give birth. Rubina Malla is one among them who took a perilous 3-hour boat journey across floodwaters to get to the nearest hospital. Sitting in a school building being used as shelter for displaced, she is fanning her child. Rubina's family originally decided to stay at home because they had nowhere to go and her family set up a camp on roof. However, when she started having labor pains, her husband brought a boat to take her to the hospital.
हमारे जोरों और पानी फेर गया हम लोग बहुत परेशान हो गए तो हम कहाँ जाएंगे कैसे जाएंगे. मेरा हस्बैंड गया कश्ती लेके आया कश्ती में हम दोनों गए हॉस्पिटल में हम गरीब थे तो 7 हॉस्पिटल में गए थे वहाँ पर मेरी डिलीवरी हुई ही.
As the country continues to grapple with debilitating floods, hospitals in the affected areas are overcrowded with patients. Currently at risk of starvation, people living in several camps are contracting waterborne diseases. According to the staff at the civil hospital of Dadu city in Sindh province, they have received over 72,000 patients in recent days, mostly suffering from diarrhea and gastric illness.
हालिया बारिशों की वजह से हमारे यहाँ दादू डिस्ट्रिक्ट में गैस्ट्रो में डायरिया में और मलेरिया में काफ़ी केसेस ज़्यादा हुए हैं. तकरीबन 150 से ज़्यादा डायरिया के केसेस डेली हम इधर एडमिट करते हैं और तकरीबन 5 से 10 ये मलेरिया के केसेस भी हम रोज़ाना दाखिल करते हैं. जो ये पानी जमा होने की वजह से मलेरिया हुआ है और पानी जमा होने की वजह से ये सफाई ना हुई उसमें डायरिया में काफ़ी हद तक इजाफा हुआ है.
This is at least the 4th major flood within a generation in Pakistan. Previous floods occurred in 1992, 1993 and 2010. An increased frequency of such events in the country must be attributed to global temperature rise, particularly since the 1970s.
Moving on. India has incorporated its first domestically developed aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, into its naval arsenal. With this military milestone, India has joined the elite group of nations that have the niche craft and that have the competence to develop an aircraft carrier on their own. The timing of Vikrant's incorporation holds immense significance, for it comes amidst increasing turbulence in the Indo-Pacific region and when India is staring at a joint Pakistan-China threat along its eastern and western marine fronts.
A roaring floating beast, adding a lethal dimension to India's two-front deterrence strategy. This is INS Vikrant. India, in line with its ambitions of Atmanirbhar, or self-reliance, recently added its first domestically developed aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant, into its naval arsenal. With this military milestone, India has joined the elite group of nations that have the niche craft and that have the competence to develop an aircraft carrier on their own. Prime Minister Narendra Modi presided over the event where INS Vikrant was officially commissioned. With a capacity to accommodate a crew of about 1,600, this 262-meter giant warship will be flying up to 26 MiG-29K fighter jets, 4 Kamov Ka-31 helicopters, 2 HAL Dhruv NUH utility helicopters, and 4 MH-60R multi-role helicopters. The timing of Vikrant's incorporation holds immense significance, for it comes amidst increasing turbulence in the Indo-Pacific region, and when India is staring at a joint Pakistan-China threat along its eastern and western marine fronts.
आज चाहे ऑफशोर पेट्रोल वेसल्स हो, सबमरीन्स हो या एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर्स हो, आज भारत की नौसेना की ताकत अभूतपूर्व गति से बढ़ रही है। इससे आने वाले समय में हमारी नेवी और मजबूत होगी।
Vikrant's entry also marks the advent of India's indigenous military expedition that experts believe will take enormous leaps in the coming decades. With Vikrant as its flagship, New Delhi is aggressively shifting its gears towards domestic manufacturing for its military needs.
The ship can, like any other warship, be utilized to project power, to ensure safety and security at high seas, and also provide credible deterrence with extreme visibility.
All three wings of its military, the Army, Air Force, and Navy, have been working to enhance their indigenous manufacturing capabilities. Tejas, the indigenously developed light combat aircraft, has equipped the Indian Air Force with much-needed firepower and operational requirements. The fourth-generation Indian Tejas aircrafts have the capacity of carrying the same amount of weapons, including heavy missiles that bigger warplanes carry, from precision-guided and standoff weaponry to long-range beyond visual range missiles. The Indian aircraft can take down enemy's planes from a safe distance.
The enhancement of maritime power for India is a big boost, and INS Vikrant is one of the elements of the improvement of the maritime combat power.
The Indian Army as well has been expeditiously enhancing its artillery arsenal through indigenous means. Battle tanks to the most sophisticated of assault rifles used by Indian soldiers are being manufactured in Indian facilities. New Delhi has set itself fresh targets that it says will bolster its capabilities on two fronts: self-reliance, and the other, expansion of India's military export. The developments are here for all to see. Not only has India secured the license to develop BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles indigenously, but is now exporting the missile as well. A clear reflection of how brand India is changing the status quo and challenging the monopoly of the global arms market. The Indian government has set a target of exporting defense equipment worth $5 billion USD by 2024, a significant spike in what it was exporting until a few years back. The arsenal it aims to provide to the world include the Akash and BrahMos missiles and the Tejas aircraft. It also seeks to sell Astra, the beyond visual range air-to-air missile, battle tanks, sonars, and a variety of radars. With the second largest number of troops, the third largest defense spender, India is on its way to become an even stronger military force with this indigenous push, providing it a more robust weapon arsenal. Some observers say that the world must acknowledge and be wary of India's advancements, especially Pakistan and China, who are anxious about India's rising military presence.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
Days after the end of a brief bout of fighting last month, Gazan workers are returning to work across the border under a permit scheme launched as part of Israel's strategy of using economic inducements to help stabilize the volatile enclave. For those lucky enough to obtain a permit, a job in Israel can bring in 10 times of what they could earn at home, a powerful incentive in an impoverished area where 2.3 million people live squeezed into a narrow coastal strip. According to the World Bank, unemployment in Gaza runs at about 50% and more than half the population lives in poverty, exacerbated by repeated bursts of fighting and a years-long economic blockade imposed by both Israel and Egypt. The permits were introduced as part of Israel's twin strategy of enforcing military control while offering some economic benefits to reduce tensions following an 11-day war last year with Hamas, which controls Gaza. Israel has also promised further loosening of economic restrictions depending on positive signs from Hamas. This is a windmill farm for power generation in Kamoshi city of Ibaraki Prefecture in Japan. Windmills are lined up on the coast because of the ability to generate electricity because of continuous flow of wind. Wind energy is one of the best sources of renewable energy. A number of companies are targeting construction, operation and management of windmill power generation as a feasible and profitable business opportunity. A windmill with a longitudinal wing can change the angle and continue to rotate according to the strength of the wind. Box devices enable them to be stacked or placed horizontally.
日本はですね、風が弱いようでまた台風も来る非常に複雑な地の輪のところにあります。で、この風力発電は台風でも動き続けるという世界で初めての機構です。私は風力で効率よく町の近くでこれがやれたらいいなと考えております。
Currently, the installation of windmill on the sea is attracting attention, but Japan has geographical challenges. This model is a vertical shaft windmill. It has an upright rotating shaft. It is available to float. The gravity of the windmill facility is low to prevent it failing into the sea. A marine technology professor and a material manufacturer are working together to make a development. A number of windmills are being installed on the seashores in Japan despite the geographical challenges. Solar power is the renewable source of energy where the sun's energy is converted into electricity via usage of solar panels. A number of solar power generation companies are present in Japan. All the firms are coming up with new variety of products for solar panel installation and management.
屋上から環境に貢献ということで、もともと屋上が、事業領域になってました。これから環境に向けて、当社でできることというところで、防水と再生エネルギーの太陽光に絡む、間の基礎ですね。これを開発しました。
The solar panel move according to the direction of the sun, so it can store sunlight more efficiently. Managing and cleaning panel is a major task for large-scale facilities like Mega Solar. Installing the rail and brush on the solar panel and clean them under computer control. This clean product is used in the snow area in winter. Technological advancements to operate renewable energy more efficiently play an important role in achieving the goal of carbon neutrality worldwide.
Being an agrarian society, India celebrates a number of harvest festivals that form an integral part of the country's cultural legacy, and over the centuries they have evolved in various forms. Onam, which marks the commemoration of the Vamana form of Lord Vishnu, and Nuakhai, an agriculture event, are amongst the biggest harvest festivals that are observed with much enthusiasm. Have a look.
India celebrates a number of harvest festivals to pay homage to the gods for blessing the people with crops and fodder. Different regions in the country celebrate their harvest in the form of a number of different festivals like Makar Sankranti, Lohri and more. In Kerala, state of southern India, fragrance of fresh flowers filled the air as the state celebrated the 10-day-long annual harvest festival of Onam with great zeal and colour. The festival commemorates legendary King Mahabali's or Maveli's entry back into the state. It is said that the state witnessed the golden period during the king's reign.
It is very pleasant atmosphere here. 2 years we didn't celebrate Onam. I'm very happy now. We have a big grand function here.
As Onam is all about flowers, people make beautiful rangolis using flowers, which are also known as athappu. On this day, Keralites organize different games and also enjoy dancing and playing on the swings. School children celebrated Onam by participating in Tiruvadira, a popular dance form in Kerala. Parents, teachers and students made a 30 meters diameter rangoli with flower petals to mark the occasion.
We have prepared all these things actually weeks ago. All teachers, non-teaching staffs, PTA members, mother PTA members, then parents and students have included in planning, arrangement and preparation programs to reach this splendid situation.
In Thiruvananthapuram city, street artists performed Pullikali, a folk dance to mark the celebrations. These artists had their bellies painted with faces of tigers and panthers and wore animal masks as they danced to the beat of the drums.
This is Onam celebration. അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് വന്നേക്കണേ ഞങ്ങൾ ക്ഷണിച്ചിട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾ വന്നേക്കണതാ പരിപാടി ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്. ഇവിടെയുള്ള തിരുവനന്തപുരത്തുള്ള എല്ലാവരെയും അന്ന് അർമാദിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടും സന്തോഷിപ്പിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് വന്നേക്കണതാ ഞങ്ങൾ.
Meanwhile, in Odisha, locals celebrated the 3-day-long Nuakhai festival, which is another harvest festival. Also referred to as Nuakhai Parab or Nuakhai Bhet Ghat, it signifies the celebration of newly harvested rice produce. People worship food grains on this auspicious day, which is looked upon as a new ray of hope. The mandate says that the newly harvested rice is cooked and served first to the local presiding deity. Then, the entire family sits down to eat together. Apart from cooking the new crop, a number of food items are prepared to celebrate this special day.
आज है नुआखाई और हमारे घर के सब बड़े बुजुर्ग छोटे बड़े सब मिलके आज नुआखाई पालन किए और हमारे जो इष्ट देवी हैं उनके पास उनके सामने हम मतलब भोग लगा, उसके बाद फिर हम लोग भोग खाए और सबसे आशीर्वाद लिए बड़ों से.
It is festivals like Onam and Nuakhai that are not only a show of flavors and colors, but also of the country's rich cultural diversity.
Harvest festivals are celebrated with different names across the country. With that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.